could do anything. My God could do anything. My God could do anything. My God could do anything. His miracles and blessings I just can't explain. The sufferings, trials, tribulations, and pain. When I can't breathe, heart racing real quick. He says your work's not done, so it's not time yet. I never have to worry, cause he's always here. And when I don't feel him, I know he's still near. Worst times in my life when I thought I couldn't make it, God pulled me through the fire and said with him, you could take it.
Yes, this is your girl, Seabrook, poet, motivational speaker, mentor, and I'm going to introduce this first poem to you called Justice for All. Mass incarceration, lack of education, false information with no valid explanation. This is our generation. We got to show some elevation so they can get what they deserve with just a little motivation. But what are we taught? Self-love and meditation to help channel and alleviate all the frustrations of our everyday struggles in our living situations? Don't tell me that this is a figment of my imagination. You're telling me our men can't have a decent place to sleep, a profitable income so he doesn't have to beg to eat, a valuable life that doesn't include lack of quality, where he could provide for his family, not illegitimate, but honestly. We want our young kings to walk proudly without any confrontation, where they could wake up and walk through life with some form of appreciation. We could teach morals, respect, and how not to neglect, how to level up and protect, how to manifest and connect. Instead, they're getting locked up for some minor violations, stuck inside cages because they can't afford the proper representation. But this is what we're supposed to put our hands to our heart for this one nation? They say it's under God and justice for all. I have a different observation. I see mass incarceration, lack of education, false information with no valid explanation. So to our sons who are learning to find their destination, we send you love and light to make it through any situation. In life, we have choices. There's a way to get out. Live for yourself, not in fear, not in doubt. And to our brothers who are recently released after serving some time, then to be set free because you didn't commit the crime, that has to hit harder than if you were actually guilty. But come home, stay focused, and plant that root for your tree. To our fathers who are unable to provide us with stability, because you were never guided on your true capabilities. You were taught how to face your reality and run away from your dreams. Now sit back and evaluate on what that really means. Mass incarceration, lack of education, false information with no valid explanation. But how can we teach them the many levels to success? We want jobs, not jails, to help the minds of the oppressed. How can we teach them love without fear of thinking that it's an abnormality? Thoughts of getting lost to the system or facing some type of inhumane brutality? We were taught to mistreat one another, forget the unification. We forgot to be role models for the younger generation. They said you're not doing well if you're not affiliated with some big corporation. They said you had to submit to the system, be down with the organization. But how can we teach and reach out to our communities? How can we erase their minds from distrust and provide them with opportunities? Let's decrease incarceration, provide the proper education, stop hiding the information. I hope that I made it clear with my explanation. Thank you.
All right, all right. God bless you, everybody. Welcome again to the Crystal Jones Show. That was a wonderful spoken word by our very own Kim Goodluck Seabrook. Welcome to the show. I'm your talk show host, Pastor Crystal Jones. Thank you all for tuning in again. As usual, we always have some wonderful guests, which I thank God. I tell you, a lot of guests that have come through here, they have really, really blessed our television audience. And today we have three wonderful guests. We have Gerald Hoover, who is back with us again. He was here a couple of years ago, I think about 3 or 4 years ago. Of course, you just heard from Kim Goodluck Seabrook. She's going to be coming back again, and we are also going to interview her. And we also have Minister Louis Figueroa here with us today. So we're going to tap into each of our guests today, and we're going to see what they have to share with us. We're going to start with Gerald Hoover, who is one of my childhood friends from Mount Vernon, New York.
Money earning.
Money earning Mount Vernon. So we're glad to see him back again. We're glad to still see him doing well. As you know from before, Gerald is a sports writer. He's also an author. He has a book series, My Friend, My Hero, and he was my hero too. So we're going to be talking with him about his books that he's written. He tells us that a lot of the reason why he's written these books is to help young men to stay out of the prison system. That's not what we're here for. We're not here to, be a part of the prison system. So we want our young blacks and Latinos to come out of that system. And so Gerald is here today. He's going to tell us a little bit about what he's doing with his book series. Gerald, welcome again to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, sure. Always good to see an old schoolmate and somebody who's doing well and a black man who ain't in jail. So we thank God for that. So Gerald, tell everybody a little bit about what you've been doing since the last time you've been here.
Sure. Well, if you remember, this book started when I was 17 years old, my last year in high school, and it took 9 years to get published.
Okay, can you hold that up? That's My Friend, My Hero.
Yeah, this is this 25th year celebration copy. It's been published 5 times. Now, what's unique about this book is that it was rejected over a 9-year period 40 times.
Wow.
Yeah, and when I think about it now, I'm like, how did I do this? God did that.
Right. That's right.
I never forget one day I was writing because I didn't have a typewriter or basically anything to write with. We didn't have computers back then, but I was writing by hand one day, and I was living in the projects, Levitt Towers, and it was summertime because the windows were open. We didn't have AC back then.
Yes.
Windows was wide open, and I was writing on an ironing board. That was my makeshift desk. And I remember saying to myself, I said, why am I doing this? But a voice came to me, as clear as you hear me speaking, the voice spoke to me and said, this is not just about you, keep writing. Now, I didn't have to go to the window to say, that you, Lord. I ain't need anything like that. I basically just turned back around and kept writing, not knowing that from that moment that it would still take 8 more years to get published, due to rejections, due false hope and so forth. But what I did realize is that it taught me character.
Definitely.
It taught me being consistent.
Right.
It taught me commitment. It taught me things that I've developed what I call the vitamin C's for success, which is confidence, commitment, courage, consistency, and composure. Those things were magnified within me because of what I was going through. And this book, although it got to that point where, I wanted to give up because it was when I got rejected, it hurt.
Frustrating.
It was frustrating. This book now was in South Africa, is in Germany, is in San Domingo,
wow,
Dominican Republic, is in South Korea, and it's in Italy.
Italy.
And in Germany, I believe it is.
Beautiful.
And so I went from all that to where it's coming. This is here, and this book alone has blessed me to become, as you talked about me being a sports writer. It blessed me to become a sports writer.
Yes.
Because through my literary agent, he knew a man named Roland Rogers who had a company called Black Athletes Sport Network.
Okay.
That was looking for a writer.
Right.
And he had a big event coming up, which was Michael Jordan's comeback with the Wizards.
Oh, wow.
I believe it was 99, or 98, something like that, somewhere around there. But long story short, he asked me to audition for him. Well, basically give him a writing sample. I blew him away with it. I mean, the writing was there. And I'm a sports fanatic, so I just put all that together, and I became an award-winning sports writer. I've been covering the Knicks and the Nets now for about 20 years. I became a professor at LIU Brooklyn, which where I teach sport management. I'm doing that now.
Okay.
I became a filmmaker because I put this as a screenplay. We're getting adapted as a stage play musical.
Really?
I'm doing that now. And I have something that was offshoot from my screenplay called 4 Square Miles to Glory, which is a documentary on Mount Vernon basketball, where I think to date we have 10 young men that made to the pros, from Gus Williams, through that era on here to I believe we had Kevin Jones was the last one.
Okay.
He played with the Cleveland Cavaliers, Ben Gordon, all those guys. So I've been blessed to put them in front of a camera.
Right.
And as me being a sports writer, I had access to a lot of legends like Jerry West, Walt Frazier, Willis Reed, people like that, to where they're not from Mount Vernon, but they either coached, played against, or had some sort of affiliation with someone from Mount Vernon. So I figured I could beautify the documentary by putting these legends in there, and so I was able to do that. And it's funny, God, when He put something in my spirit to magnify a gift is never done overnight.
Right.
The documentary, I've been working on that since 2007. I've interviewed about 140 people, and right now we in post-production. So me and my partner Jeff Watkins, we're putting the finishing touches to it, and it'll be a couple of more months, but we're gonna have that air. It's called 4 Square Miles to Glory. So this book, when God told me this is not just about you, keep writing, blessed me in a lot of ways. And let me add this one piece. You see only 2 books here. My Friend, My Hero, He Was My Hero too. It's actually a 4-book series.
Okay.
It's called the Hero Book Series, and the first book is My Friend, My Hero. Second book is He Was My Hero too. Third book is A Hopeful Hero, and the 4th book is Hoop Hero.
Okay.
Now each book has the word hero in it, and that's by design. And this part, it sort of speaks to your poem.
Right.
When young men and young women, when people think of themselves as heroes, they won't do
Exactly.
GOAT type things.
Right.
They'll think of themselves, wait a minute, a hero wouldn't think this way.
That's
A hero
right.
wouldn't say this way. A hero wouldn't act this way. So with my philosophy of think, say, and do, the Hero series sort of brings about character change.
Right.
When young men and young women read the books, they see themselves in these characters.
That's right.
And that's the thing that what I love about it is that they can relate to them. And that's whether you're black, white, Latino, German, Asian, doesn't matter. When people read the book, they can see themselves, especially from a teenage perspective,
Definitely.
like these characters. So the Word Hero series, and I have a website, theheroseries.com.
Okay.
The herobookseries.com.
Okay.
Young men and young women can see themselves and think better.
Good, good, good. That's some good stuff. I would love to see you bring that to the prison ministry.
I would love to.
I really would love to see you do that, because myself as being a chaplain within different arenas, I do end of life sometime, but also within prison ministry, a lot of the young people need to see that, because like you said, they need to see themselves as being a hero. And what I try to bring to young people is the fact that we didn't come from nothing. I don't care what they've been told.
Right.
I don't care what maybe their parents never told them, because maybe their parents never knew. And I think a lot of times when you tell them their history, where we came from, how we started out, this is the 400th year that commemorates the transatlantic slave trade. But telling them where we came from before that slave trade, those pyramids you see over there in Africa, we built them, okay? A lot of different, right here in America, most of the inventions that have been done here,
Right.
blacks and Latinos that, created these things but didn't get the credit for it or didn't get recognized for it. Also, a lot of time they make you think when our people lived over in Africa, we were a bunch of wild, crazy people.
Right.
Spirit throwing
Right.
people.
Spirit, and all that kind of stuff. They don't realize we come from great dynasties. It took me even a while to understand that those of us who came over here in the transatlantic slave trade, a lot of us came from Nigeria, Cameroon, a lot of these different areas, because we were scattered to all 4 corners of the world. We're the only group of people that have been by design.
Right.
Like in Deuteronomy, it tells us that the 28th chapter, those curses fell on us. But with us coming from those areas, they don't even realize that we're the first Hebrews. Okay? We're the first of the 12 tribes, the blacks and the Hispanics. We come from different of the great tribes of Israel. So they don't even realize that. And I think if they're told these things, they're like, wait a minute, what am I doing by our boss?
You know something? One of the things I've learned, and Lord has showed me, is that confidence is your key to anything.
True.
Being able to speak a certain way is the key to anything. Take what happened, you talked about the Bible. Take about what happened in Genesis, first chapter. I love just reading this again. First chapter, verses 1 through 3, around 4. It said that God created the heaven and earth, but darkness was over the face of the deep. So it was void, without form. But the Spirit of God was moving. He wasn't still. He was moving. And then when he felt like it, he basically said, light be.
Right.
He called those things that weren't as though they were. Now, when he spoke, he didn't just speak from hand-wringing faith.
Right.
That was confidence.
Yeah, there
When he
you
spoke
go.
something, he knew it was going to happen. And that's not arrogance. That's a belief system. When young men and young women realize that they're descendants of king and queens, and confidence builds in them, they're unstoppable.
Yes.
You take what happened in the slave trade, in the slavery time, when one of the reasons why I truly believe that men were getting castrated, tortured, butchered, in public to traumatize anyone else who would try to read and write, was because those slave masters knew that if these men can read and write,
Yes.
it wouldn't be that they'll be smarter than them. It's the fact that they would have confidence.
Yeah.
Knowledge brings confidence.
It does.
And if they would have had confidence, slavery would have been over.
It would have.
So if you take away a man's confidence or a woman's confidence, you really don't have much of a person there.
That's
you have
right.
A shell,
Away their power and their
you have
strength.
you have a shell of a person.
right.
And one of the things that, again, when I mentioned about the vitamin C to success, confidence is that key. You get confidence, then you can move mountains because you'll figure things out. I'm a motivational speaker,
Right.
but I stutter.
Okay.
Anybody who knows me knows I stutter. I'll stutter at any moment.
Right.
But I had to learn, okay, if you're in front of an audience or on television or on radio, what have you, and you stutter, and people start laughing, laugh with them.
Right.
I took the boogeyman out of my head.
Right.
So now, okay,
Doing
whatever
great,
happens.
though. You're doing great.
Thank you. I appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you.
Indeed.
But my
That's
thing was,
motivational all by itself.
and you know so funny, Nikki Giovanni, I got to credit her for this. When I was in Norfolk State, I was introduced to her by the student body. I was a freshman, and it was supposed to be a 15-minute interview. Talk. And she liked sports, and so she was like, "You got class?" I said, "Yes." She said, "You staying with me?" I said, "You ain't got to tell me twice." You know what I mean? So I ended up being with her for about 3 or 4 hours. She said, "And not only that, I want you to stay with me on stage. You just be off to the side." So she spoke to the senior class. Now, I'm still in manuscript mode. I wasn't nowhere near published. This is like in the early 80s.
Right.
And one thing she left me with, she said, when you get your book published, you have to get in front of every microphone, now for social media and everything. She said, in front of every microphone, every camera that you can, and start speaking. I said, I stutter.
Yeah, that's
You know what she told me? Get over it.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, that's kind of harsh. But what she was saying was, there's a barrier
Get
here.
past that.
There's a barrier here.
Right.
Right.
Find a way to get
Gotta
over it,
get
do
it.
it, or around it.
That's
I
right.
never forgot those words. That was in 1985, I believe it was. And it made me think, get over it.
That's right.
Get over it. And I've been blessed to be a motivational speaker now going on 20-something years.
That's true. And something you said about the confidence and knowing that they're great. They have to also think about, okay, we came out of the slave trade, but why do you think they chose us to be their slaves?
Right.
They didn't choose us because we were stupid.
Right.
They didn't choose us
the best
because,
product.
yes, we were, our men were big, burly,
Good point. Good
black
point.
men, you
Yeah,
know,
men,
that could
kings and
work-
queens.
Yeah,
Right.
kings and queens that
People
could
that
work
had
the
knowledge
field.
already,
They couldn't
had
do
knowledge,
it.
very
Yes,
educated.
they didn't do it.
Right.
They built this country on our backs for 400 years for free. Okay, so and then they knew when they came to get us, they knew that we were good in mathematics,
right.
to
Science.
build. Yeah, all of those.
In essence, we
That's
are
heavy.
God's
That's
people.
heavy.
Right.
We're God's people.
They knew
heavy.
that we were God's people, but we didn't know.
didn't
Once
know.
we got over here, they erased our history. So then when you erase people's history and they don't think that they're anything, all they see is, oh, my people always going to jail, my people always fighting, my people
Right.
always this and that.
Right.
Then they think, oh, well,
That
I
that's
guess
what
we're
we are.
nothing.
And they know,
Exactly.
and then Willie Lynch exacerbates it, divide and conquer. Light
Exactly.
skin, dark skin,
Yeah,
short
oh,
hair,
yes.
long hair, big, tall. Don't let them get together. They get together, you know what's
It's
gonna
over.
happen.
It's over.
So
It's
you put
over.
this one here,
Right.
put this one there, put
Even
this one
together,
there.
they
Divide.
separated.
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly. And so you have a situation where we're split. We can't win, that way. If fighting this way will never get power.
Right.
Fighting this way, united, or with a good stance, you can win every time. So divide and conquer is where we are, and we have to get around that because without
Definitely.
education, without knowledge, without application of your skills, you're not gonna be able to do anything.
That's true. That's true. Well, Gerald, I'm so glad that you came, back again. But I would love to I'm telling you, I would love to see you bring your books and everything that you do to the prison ministry, because I'm telling you, those young people, they need you bad, because we're at the awakening hour. God is awakening his people
Yes,
to
yes.
who we
That's for sure.
are.
That's for sure.
The Hebrews are coming forward. We are getting to know who we are. We're embracing who we are,
Okay,
and we got to
goosebumps.
wake our
Yes.
young people up real fast.
Amen.
And get to moving, because we got great things. God got great things in store for us.
Right.
So I want to see you a great
You got
man.
me.
I really want to see you in the prison ministry.
Amen.
So continue to come back, though, because we definitely need you. This year, I'm really going hard with the 400 years since the transatlantic slave trade, and I'm featuring a lot of men of color. I've been doing that on my shows, and just, I had a panel discussion with some of them. A lot of them were authors. They did this, they did that. They were honored on a cruise ship that Minister Loretta does, Hagler, and she Retta's Lifeline.
She just went on a cruise.
Yeah, she went on a cruise, but she had one especially for the men in, I think it was August. And she presented them with awards and everything, and it was awesome. So we did part 2 on the show.
Nice.
And we had a panel discussion, and it was awesome. So this year I'm going hard. I'm really going hard.
Well, books 3 and 4 will be done by September. Well, actually, book 3, I'm putting the finishing touches on that now. I already have the covers for them. And so book 3 will be done within a month. Book 4 should be done by September.
By September? Okay,
Yeah.
I would love to see you go to some of the local prisons.
Be happy to.
Hand the books out.
I'd be happy
They
to.
need it. They need you. They need to see you. That even if they don't have a father or a father figure,
Figure.
something in
Still.
them will say, I want to be like
Exactly.
that. I don't want to be here.
Exactly.
So God bless you, and continue to come back.
Yes,
All
blessings.
right. So our next wonderful guest we have is
Talent.
There we go.
Talented.
Gifted talent.
Gifted and talented,
Thank you
Miss
so much.
Kim Goodluck Seabrook.
Yes.
She is a proud native of the Bronx, New York. She is most known for her inspiring, transparent, and relevant poetry, her positive energy, love for life, and is also an inspiration to a growing following of her poetry. This single mother, from a young age, rose from the dark ashes of sexual abuse, abandonment, domestic violence, addiction, heartbreak, and several near-death experiences by keeping a smile on her face and having a great outlook on life. Poetry has been a form of therapy for Kim Seabrook, which led her to open up Creative Soul Concepts, a workshop program which includes writing skills, poetry lessons, healing, and meditation lessons. She's hosted many radio shows, and her most recent is Keeping It 100 with Kim and Della, recorded out of the well-known DITC studio, which you can watch live on Ustream, iAccess Radio, and other media outlets. She's known for her persistence, hard work, dedication, and unwavering passion, performing in many venues in the Atlanta, New York City, and tri-state areas. Miss Kim
Yes.
Seabrook,
Yes.
welcome to the
Thank
show.
you. I got a little emotional just hearing my bio. It's been an amazing journey, even from last night, on the past few nights, and into today. So just hearing, the things in the transition and where I'm at.
Yes. So tell us a little bit about you. You got a lot to tell.
I do. I have a lot. So pardon the tears. But again, like I said, very emotional. I had a video release party for Justice for All that I did. I dedicated to an organization called Never Be Caged. Never Be Caged is a group of 3 grassroots organizations. Miss Abby Kids, I Am My Community, and Neighborhood Benches. And we all just go out there and we help the community and we love them. We teach them. Goal is for them to never be caged, basically. You
That's
understand?
right.
For the grandchildren never be caged. And that's by giving them the right tools, just like I said in my poem. Provide the proper education. Stop hiding the necessary information that we need in order to grow out here. Because it's
That's
out
right.
here. But they keep taking it away from us.
I know. That's so
So,
true. Is that what actually inspires you to write that poem that you just read?
I'm gonna tell you exactly. Someone, her name is Linda Bonanno. She is with God Check Records. She's an Italian. She'll say it. She's really white. She'll say it to you. I'm a white lady. She's from Italy, but her soul is pure.
Right.
She loves her people. She loves us, and she was doing something for New York Fashion Week, and she said she wanted a poem that represented for Black men and the injustices. And I came up with Justice for All, and
Wow,
and
that was
but
beautiful.
the work that we do out here, literally in the community, I had to dedicate it to the people who are actually out here doing it. So that's where it came
That's
in
where
with the
that came
video.
from.
Yeah,
I heard you when you did it first at MC Heaven's Church, Christian Federation, I believe, here in the Bronx.
Yes.
They had a Black History Month program. And when you got up there and did that poem, I was like, wait a minute. What? I was just sitting there listening like, wow. I mean, just the way that your delivery was and everything like that, it just made me really listen and to know that the problems within the Black and the Latino community is our people are being incarcerated by great numbers. But to hear a poem like that, that just kind of hits on every area of it, I was amazed at that.
Thank you.
And
I
I
also have a Black son that I'm raising. You understand? He's 20 years. He's going to be 20 years old this month. And he drives. He's constantly getting pulled over.
Wow.
Because he's Black. He gets pulled over walking to the apartment, walking to from home.
Oh,
so, and actually this past month, since the weather's been nice, he hasn't even gotten in his car.
Yeah,
that's sad.
It's
That's
very sad.
I bought my
that
son that car
happens.
for his 18th birthday.
Yeah.
And it's sad that my son doesn't want to drive because he's feeling like he's getting harassed out here in New York City.
I know. I see it all the time on the Facebook videos and stuff. I always see them getting pulled over and things like that. And I try to encourage some of them that, listen, we're all going through that because they're going after us too. When I go in the store, they follow me.
Right.
So I try to let them know that we're all kind of targets.
Right.
So the best thing to do is try our best to be positive about it, stay educated, know where they're coming from, know your rights.
Right.
Know the right things to say, keep it in your mind and your heart not to get into anything with them.
And I'm thankful
much
that
as
he does know
possible.
that. Otherwise, he could have had some very bad experiences. So
Yes.
thank God that he does know that, yes.
That's
absolutely.
good. That's good.
That was a little bit more about my emotion as well because he was there with me
Yeah.
yesterday and told me how proud he was of me. So I know that what I'm doing is definitely for him. And he's going to be okay no matter what y'all be trying to do to my son.
I know.
Y'all leave my man alone. Shoot. I'm going to say my baby, but I know he's going to be a man. He's a man.
That's right. That's it.
Still my baby, though, yes. Leave him alone.
But that's
Leave our
something.
young kids
though.
alone.
I know. It's
We want them
so
to walk
many.
freely without any confrontation. What's the problem?
I know. Well,
Between them and the other people in our community with the mental illness and the sickness. And,
true. It's always something that always on the radio, on television. Every day there's something going on with people of color. And it's so sad, but I personally feel like because once we so-called came out of slavery, they never planned for us to come off that cotton plantation. And when we walked off that cotton plantation, they were like, uh-oh, our money mule is on out of here. So then they brought us from that to, okay, well, if you come off the plantation and you read, you're going to get arrested. They made up all these different laws at first to divide the family by knocking the man off.
Oh, yeah. That's
So,
the first thing, right?
yeah, get the
Provide
man out the
welfare
way.
to the women.
Yes.
Oh, you don't need him. We're going to give you some food stamps. You're going to be able to eat and still take care of your baby. Let him go.
Exactly. So we went through all of those different phases, but now we see the incarceration system is just another.
It's another, yeah.
It's
It's
just
a,
another.
it's a money bomb.
Oh, big
Yeah.
time.
It's
about the money.
Big time.
There
money
really
making.
is.
Big time.
And it's so sad that you do have some places that are taking on the challenge to stop it. But we got to get more on board so that, America realizes we're not standing for this. This has to stop.
Right.
Our children, we have to get together and form schools for our children as well, because they're not going to get the
They're
education
not going to get what they
at a lot of these public schools.
Exactly.
Because, as much as you do have white teachers that care or are concerned, But in a lot of instances,
But they come
they're
from
not.
upstate.
Exactly.
They come from
That's the
upstate from
thing.
your
That's
house.
the thing.
You know
That's
what
the
I
thing.
mean?
That's the thing.
For
Understand these
two
kids.
for a
Yeah.
car garage, and
Yeah.
you come in here and you
Yeah,
don't even
it's-
know if these kids have breakfast
And-
yet.
and-
And then we
Exactly.
have to pay for lunch and can't afford the lunch. So,
Exactly.
but you gonna go home to a nice home cooked meal, ain't you? Because you got Maria Guadalupe over there cooking dinner for
Now,
you.
but you know
and
some,
taking care of your
and too many
kids.
times it's female teachers trying to teach young black boys.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And when you're doing
Man gotta
that,
raise a man.
Right.
yeah, you know what? And most white guys won't come teach black men in that way, or they're not selected in certain schools. So you got the schools I go to, most of the schools,
Female teachers.
female teachers,
Right.
and I'm seeing white
Young,
teachers. I'm not
too.
against them,
No,
but I'm
yeah,
like, but
now
you're trying to
it's
teach
young.
14, 15-year-old men, young men, and it's kind of
have
hard
no
to talk
idea.
about what Johnny went through last night
Right.
if you
It
didn't go
is.
through it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's funny. I touched on certain things about that in my book, where a white teacher is trying to teach a black child.
Right.
Wasn't bad, but you see a difference. There
a
is a
big
difference
difference.
when you're going through emotional challenges because you don't know what you're going to eat. You haven't eaten. You come to school, your shirt's wrinkled.
Right.
It's a reason for that.
It is.
Right.
They didn't want to come to school like that, but
Right.
circumstances are sometimes 15-year-old Leroy is taking care of his brother and little sister
Right.
while the mother is trying to work second shift.
Second shot.
Exactly.
Second shift, and it's kind of tough. And so we need, I think, and to your point, we need skill development.
Yes.
Education is one thing, but skill development.
development.
If you're going to be a
Right.
barber, be a great barber, become an entrepreneur.
Exactly.
You want to be a beautician?
Exactly.
Do you like cooking? Go to culinary school.
Exactly.
We need skill development, so these
development
kids
so
can
that we-
take their skills and their energy and say, I can make money doing
Right.
this. I
That's
can make money
true.
doing that.
Right.
It's not I believe like this. If you have a skill, no job is meaningless. Because
Exactly.
you can make a lot of money. If I'm not mistaken, I think P.
Build your own
Diddy's
brand.
I think P. Diddy's hairstylist or barber is making about $200,000 a year. I
That's
believe.
right.
I believe Floyd Mayweather's cook is making I think $1,000 a meal.
Right.
So if he eats 3 times a
happen.
day,
Right.
that's
Exactly.
$3,000 a day.
That's
and,
right.
and she's
You ain't gotta
finding-
sell drugs.
she's scrambling an egg,
Right.
whatever,
That's
whatever
right.
she's doing.
Right.
So I believe this: if you have a skill and you're working within that gift of your skill, money's gonna find you.
Right.
Legitimately,
Right.
It's gonna find you, and it's just a way how you pursue it and how you do it.
Exactly.
That's true. That's
Amen.
true.
Exactly.
But
I
what
gotta
you
say
said,
that.
what you said about the teachers is very true because when we go into these schools to try to mentor them, I went back to our school, A.B. Davis, and those kids were off the chain from when we used to go there. Oh my Lord! I remember going there. I got kicked out of school because I was late for school 3 times. But when I went back to mentor, I remember they brought me they were bringing me to a classroom, and I could hear these kids screaming and yelling, and I was like, what is going on? So the escorts were like, yeah, Miss Jones, that's the class that we taking you to. That's those kids there. And I was like, Lord, give me what to say because these kids are, they off the chain.
Wow.
So I go in there not knowing that there's a teacher in there with these kids
Wow.
screaming like that. So I remember from one of the churches that I used to go to, how the youth pastor used to get their attention. So I remember I said, I'm gonna walk in there and I'm gonna do that. So I walked in and I said, hear my voice clap once, hear
Right.
my voice clap 2 times,
Come on.
sit down. They was like, oh shoot, because they know I'm a black woman, I'm not scared of you.
Uh-huh.
Okay,
Right.
sit down
Right.
and we're gonna learn something today.
Right.
And then when they sat down and cleared the room, I looked in the corner, there was a white woman. She was in the corner like this, scared. But when she saw me, she started smiling, like, thank God you came.
That's sad.
You
though.
know,
I mean, I'm laughing, but it's really
It's
that's a
really
sad.
sad.
situation.
So from
Yeah.
there, I had to unwind them, you know, to talk about,
And make
okay,
them
we're
feel
going to talk about you,
comfortable, right.
your future. You
Right.
stand up, come up here,
Right.
tell the people what you want to do.
Right.
What's your gifts? What's your talents?
Right.
This, that,
and
the
that's
other.
the problem. That's what we don't reach out and dig into our children is to find out what their talents are, what their skill sets are. You don't necessarily have to be a doctor or a lawyer.
You don't.
You understand? Like, I'm a poet. I'm a writer. I'm a
Exactly.
speaker.
Skill.
That's
Yes,
needed.
and it's your passion. Your passion is going to
Walking
get
in
you to
your
where
gift.
you need to get
Walking in
and
your
how it's
gift.
going to help other people. And that's what's most important. I was homeless for 2 years. I gave up everything
That's right.
to do what I do.
I know that's right.
I gave up everything. My son sacrificed everything right along with me because he believed in me. So when you have that passion, we got that love, I'm telling you, I don't care about the money. The money is going to come.
It'll find you.
The money is going to come. But the rewards of seeing someone smiling or seeing that I inspired them to become a writer. Or when my son goes into his room and he writes, you know, and he's, again, 19. He writes from his perspective of life right now, so I'm going to let him, you know, do what you do, because I know my poetry wasn't always so nice. You understand? I said some things. Look, as a whole, I was
You got off your chest.
Yeah, but that's why I say poetry
That's
was
the
my
process.
therapy.
Yes.
Well, we all have our own way of
yeah.
communicating.
Exactly.
We were given a communicating
Exactly.
tool that wasn't proper. That's about
Exactly.
it.
So it was my
We have
therapy.
to check ourselves.
Yeah, big
I did a lot
time.
of things I wasn't supposed to be doing.
Big time.
That's it.
Big time. But I wouldn't be who I am today if I didn't go through those
Amen.
transitions.
That's right. Well, we certainly enjoy your poetry.
Thank you.
And we definitely want you to come back. I want you to come back. Well, I'm trying to get together like a Christian or inspirational rap fest.
Okay.
Because in the past 2 years, I've had a lot of inspirational rappers come on that are awesome. You know,
Nice.
MC Heaven. I love her.
Yes, shout out to MC
I love
Heaven.
her
That's how I
raps.
met you. Yeah.
Yes, Brimstone and I think one of the young ladies was there, Tiana.
All females.
Okay.
Tiana.
All females.
females.
No, there's some males.
No, there's others though. But,
That opens up my platform.
There we go.
There you go.
Right.
Yes,
There you
yes.
go.
I want, you all to come back, and I want us to really just have a good time
I would
here.
love to. It'd be an honor.
Because the arts is a good place for our people. We all really enjoy that because we
Yeah.
all seem to have something. It's
all got-
something. We all got
we too
something in the
dope,
arts.
yeah.
Whether we're writing,
Creative.
you doing a
something
play,
cooking, right, designing,
know,
all types
all types of
stuff.
things within the arts. So we want you to come back.
I would love to. Thank you. Yes.
So now we're going to move on to Minister Louis Figueroa. He was born to Angel and Petra Figueroa, Petra, on March 25th, 1951. He was born in Spanish Harlem at the Metropolitan Hospital. He's the fourth son and middle child of 7 children. In 2005, he met and married the love of his life. I like to hear that when people
Nice,
say that.
right.
Patricia Ann Swain Figueroa. He attended Bronx Community College as well as Hunter College.
Very emotional.
At the age of 12, he came to the knowledge of
good.
Because you love
himself.
what you do.
Yes.
He is one of the co-founders of the Harlem Youth Federation, also of the Young Lords and the Black Panthers organization. At the age of 15, he attended the Tree of Life Academy, located on 125th in Harlem, New York. He joined the Nation of Islam at one point in 1968 and became a Muslim. He became a student of the Bible, Quran, and the Torah. This opened up a door for him to becoming a servant of our Lord and Savior, Yeshua HaMashiach. That's what I call him, Jesus Christ. In America, we call him Jesus Christ. At this time, he is pursuing his master's degree in the theology at Christ Theological Seminary, where he is holding the title of Reverend Deacon Louis Figueroa. Welcome to the Crystal Jones Show. Thank you for being here.
Yes.
And we're glad to have you. You also are an author, and yours is a workbook for recovery. Can you hold that up so that they can see that particular book?
And the reason it's recovery is because, like I said, I came up Spanish Harlem, in Harlem, and like the brother had mentioned about getting a skill. I went to George Westinghouse Vocational and Technical High School in Brooklyn. I learned the skill, you know what I mean? As a matter of fact, I'm doing skill work now. You mentioned like cooking. I cook, serve, and clean at the mental institution. So I mentor to the mentally ill. I opened up a church upstate in New York when I was working up there at Mid-Hudson.
Wonderful.
4 years. I had church service every Tuesday.
Okay.
And I also retired from UPS.
Oh,
Which is,
nice.
it's a skill in doing mail delivery, just like the U.S. mail. But it's also very dangerous. That's my first injury. I
wow.
almost lost my hand.
Oh, wow.
Right, but to be a person of who I am, I've been ordained as an elder most recently, ordained as a deacon and in the church service. I come from a past where I had to hustle and work.
Right.
You know, single parent, like I mentioned that I'm the middle child. I was labeled the black one, for one. and I was also called flaquito. Flaquito is like the skinny,
Skinny
one.
one.
That means I didn't have any nutriments. I didn't have anything. You see what I'm saying? And the black one meaning that if anybody was to get put down or put away, it would have been me.
Okay.
Right. So I'm fighting a battle from childhood all the way up. You know, but that opened the door for my ministry, which is multicultural men's ministry outreach.
Wonderful.
And that's what I do. I started a men's ministry at Walker Memorial Baptist Church in the Bronx. I started a men's ministry at Interfaith in Yonkers.
Okay.
And then I'm with my former dean, but now pastor, my senior pastor, Gwendolyn Wilson, at Will of the Masters Deliverance Ministries. I do men's ministry there.
Wonderful.
And what I'm trying to do is bring this out into the street. That's why I'm glad I met the both of y'all and looking forward to seeing y'all. Two things I'm doing. I'm organizing with some people that I was with, the Order of the Feather, Order of the Bonnet, Menacing Day Camp. Well, we have a fraternity in there, and we want to incorporate it and bring a chapter into Mount Vernon, right? The other thing that I'm presently doing is Men Who Write.
Yeah.
So I'm glad I met you today, which is really great.
awesome.
Nice.
And we're going to have it in Mount Vernon
Nice.
at the Akbar Center.
Oh,
familiar with those
yeah.
guys.
Right on 4th Avenue, right?
Yes. Amen.
people.
So that's going to be June 15th. I have your information. I want to get you involved in that. And I also want you to be involved.
Thank you. I would love to.
Yeah.
They know me well over there. I know them well over there. So.
But just for the record, you know, we do things like right now I'm a part of the group Authors Conference with Minister Angie McDowell.
Yes.
I think they call themselves the Doves, something feminine. Anyway.
Right.
But anyway, I'm one of the men there.
Nice.
and so we're going to do some stuff with her. You know, she's the one that told me about, you know, she wanted to do something for the men.
Yes, this year we all doing.
And what we need to understand is that there's more women born than men, first of all.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So we're already in the background. And then women, just like somebody had said to me, how do you do it?
Okay.
You know, because we homeless, we jobless, talking about men and women. But women, they get it together where they raise children. They nurture children. They give birth. They do all this. And then when they get themselves together, they go into work. I go to work. I can't do nothing but just me.
Right.
They take care of 3, 4, 5 kids, get them ready for school. Everyone then go to work
Right.
and do all that kind of stuff, you know.
Right.
So this book here is a workbook for recovery where
Okay.
I just happened to fall, not only, even though I learned skills, I also was working. But I come from a single parenthood. It was 7 of us. And I learned some other things, some street stuff.
Right.
See, not only did I run into these organizations which had some positivity about them, but they were assassinated as we speak, you know.
Okay.
But I got into the drug world,
Okay.
right? And like this guy said in the movie, he said, don't get high on your own supply. It was too late. I did that already.
Right.
And I found myself in a dilemma. And I thank God that the information was given to me, right, to recover.
Right.
That's it.
So this is about recovery, and it's about changing my life. I got 30 years clean without a minor mood altering
Thank
chemical.
God.
Right.
And in the process, I was helping other people, right, to recover as well. And that's when it came to the book. I used to do sessions, right, and teach people different ways to not use. See, and the most important thing was you have to be true to yourself.
That's right.
See, I can't keep you clean, but you can.
Right.
And me, my sponsor, this person who mentored me, he told me, get a slogan. My slogan was just for the day, one day at a time. So that's where I'm at. I live. So and then now I've incorporated that into the now. I live in the now. See, no one has ever seen tomorrow.
Right.
That's
And
it.
yesterday is dead and gone.
Right.
Right. So all we have is now.
Today.
So I wrote this book here. It's a study manual for different questions and different steps, different traditions, how to stay clean.
Nice.
You know.
This is another book.
Right.
Needs to go into the
Oh,
jail.
definitely. Because
Well,
when they
that's what I
come
do.
home, when they get
Definitely. You
out,
do that
absolutely.
But I was doing it in a mental institution.
question.
That's what I'm doing now. I'm getting ready to retire next year. That's another thing. I'm retiring from my second job.
Nice.
All right.
Wonderful.
And I was written off. First of all, when I was coming up, so you mentioned I joined the Nation of Islam in 1968 with the Panthers in the 60s. When I was coming up, 25 years for a black man was more than enough time to live.
Yeah.
And it just so happened that all my friends have passed away. I'm the only one left
Wow.
out of my friends.
Wow.
You think that's by coincidence? No way.
Coincidence,
No
no
way.
way.
That was divinely ordered.
So I was gonna write a book, like somebody said, write a book on myself. Somebody keeps saying that. But I'm gonna do the autobiography. But I'm gonna also do another workbook with the answers. This one here doesn't have the answers. I have the answers. See, and you have to do it. If you give people the answers, a lot of times the answers, you have to give people direction and leadership.
Absolutely.
So they look for the answers. You can find them, and I gave them information on where to go to get it.
Right.
But you can't, if you give people certain things, especially men, the way we are, right? We get information, we get it done, and we sit down. That's how we can sit down. I don't know how they do it, but sit down at the machines and play them games constantly over and
5
over.
or 6 hours.
Yeah, we right.
And get
They've
digital
been-
dementia.
But they've been trained to sit and do that, you know.
Wow.
So I'm working on the autobiography, and I'm working on part 2 of my book
Of
as
that
well.
book.
And this book here is funny because I wrote this book almost 30 years ago. And I used to give out just pieces of it. Like, you know, you do like sheets like this,
Right.
staple them together, and I give them out to people to do work. And then I put Minister Angela McDowell, she said, you need to write a book. And actually, I had already wrote it.
It was already written.
I put this together. But publishing is a problem. Copywriting is a whole thing going on. You know what I mean? The government, you know. So I'm just following through. I'm glad to hear what you had said about your book. And now that you got it all right, because that's my goal. My goal is to make this global.
That's
can help you.
right.
I want it in every language all around the world,
See,
you know.
that's right.
So the other piece with me is the garden and soaring in the spirits.
Okay.
Me and my wife, we started this over 12 years ago, right? And what happened was the neighbor next door, she asked for prayer. She said, I know y'all go to church, this, that, and the other. You know what I mean? And we brought her into the apartment, and we prayed for her, and we started having a class right there. And that's when we started Bible study and prayer right in the house.
Yes.
Right, doing it, the building, the neighbors. Then we start going around doing it, and then now we do conference call.
Right.
So you can call up, you can be at your own home, and we just do Bible study.
That's awesome. God works the way He want to work.
He
You know,
does.
Amen.
He
a problem
does.
developed where it looked like a problem with your neighbor. It really
Right.
wasn't a problem. It was more of a Lazarus experience.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And let me put this in place so that, you know, a call for prayer, and then all of a sudden, call for prayer end up being, you know, what you're doing now. Conference
Our
call.
ministry, that's
awesome.
our ministry, my wife's ministry, soaring in the spirit.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful because I don't operate out of a building either. I go
Right.
wherever God is sending
Exactly.
me to go. I go on social media. I'm in the end of life care, people incarcerated, whatever, wherever, because everybody can't be in the church atmosphere
Exactly.
behind the four walls.
Right.
Because you have to come up out of that church to spread the gospel.
Right, well, there's 2 things on that. One, especially even in Mount Vernon, it's over 400 churches.
Yeah, see.
But guess what?
Isn't that crazy?
But this is, the crazy part is they're not 400 buildings.
Yeah, that's right.
There's churches on top of churches.
Definitely.
That's interesting.
And that's another thing that we're working on. We're working on bringing churches together.
Yeah.
Stop playing the game,
Right?
right? And there's no reason why 5 and 6 churches are in the same building, but they're not in unison.
Yeah.
Tax write-offs.
Right.
Yeah, there you
I hate
go.
to say it.
I know,
I'm not saying
and
I'm not saying it's not a real minister in the building.
Right.
I'm not saying they're not praying, but a lot of people use church for the write-off.
Right. And see, and the other piece is the church is out here. You the church. You need to
Right.
come out. That's what we do.
It's
We
in
come
you.
out. We come out.
That's what I
So we're
say.
working on some stuff. So
love
just June 15th, very important.
Mark it
Men Who
down.
Write.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then we're working with Mayor Thomas.
Oh, yeah,
I'm getting ready to meet with him. I already met with him myself several times, but I'm meeting with the group so that we can organize this whole Order the Feather thing for the youth,
Right.
mentoring,
Yes.
and getting them toward the job set. If you for work or you for college or whatever it is, you know, that's what they need. They need
Skill
mentoring.
development, yeah, mentoring,
So we're
yeah,
doing it.
yeah.
You know.
Well, I can't speak for everyone, but I think I can. This wasn't by mistake.
No.
No.
You know, when I
Amen.
approached you about coming on and gave me this date, I didn't know who else was coming.
Right.
And the fact that you know, we're all here together having the same type of mission, you know.
Amen.
That's true.
Mission
You
is
can't
good.
put that together
That's
on your
true.
own. You can't do that because people's schedules get crazy.
Uh-huh.
And the way that happened, you know, God fixed that. You know,
That's
that's
true.
That's the
Yes.
plain and simple.
And
of
it tells me that God is concerned about that incarceration thing. Because the
Yes.
fact that all of us got some type of input on
Yeah,
it.
I do prison ministry
is-
also.
Yes.
You know, unfortunately, my dad was in. I know I said this off air. My dad was incarcerated 3 times before he passed away. He died at 43, and this is his 30th year of him dying. He died in 1989, so he missed my son being born by 2 years. And one of the things that I know, he was on heroin. He had some challenges, and so when I wrote this book, my book was intended to be an anti-drug book. That's why it says on the cover here, it says drugs and guns kill.
Right, right, exactly.
It's a reason why I put that on there, and then I put over here, education enhances lives, learn. So there's certain
they're wearing it, messages
of
in.
making people aware.
Right.
And again, once we turn that force on people's minds and get that confidence going, the skill development, the mentoring, it's going to fester something.
You got to do skills and college.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It don't make no sense if you ain't got no sneakers, but you got a shopping cart. You be able to carry the stuff, and your feet ain't gonna make it. You got to have all the proper tools, and you got to have more than one way to succeed.
That's true.
You know.
That's true. There are many ways to succeed.
Balance.
Is it
man.
true?
Is it balance?
Yes,
Balance. God, I love that. Yeah, I love this
You
balance
always
thing.
tell
Yeah.
everybody, you stay
You got to be well balanced.
You
Yeah.
do.
Is this
And we
an
need to know
Aries
what that
thing, or is
means.
this period? Is this an Aries thing, or you just said balance? because
No, that's Libra. That's Libra.
Libra?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
Libra.
Oh,
No,
Aries,
I said
Aries.
He's asking
Yeah,
you,
yeah, Aries is the head.
the
Okay,
scale
okay.
because of the sign itself?
oh no,
It's because of
that
the
was
word
that
balance.
was the when I created the show. I was like, "What's the theme, Lord?" And he said, "Balance."
Balance.
Because he was teaching me to come out from the church and be balanced. He was teaching me that wasn't about just sitting there hearing sermons
Just
all
being
the
God,
time.
God, God this, God that.
Yeah, and being caught up in emotionalism or anything like that. It was about spreading the gospel.
Right.
And then I got into really listening to the teachings of Christ and realizing that Christ, he went around, he
That's
said
right.
what he had to say, and he was
kept
out of
stepping.
there. He bounced.
That's balance.
Listen,
He had-
turntables over, and they broke out. I make my mark, and I'm
Right.
out.
You got the message.
He got fed.
And you applied it to your life.
That's it. You get fed, and then you go out and teach, and that's the whole balance.
That's
Absolutely.
it.
You get
That's
filled
it.
up, but you ain't supposed to stay there.
Exactly.
And I gotta say, congratulations. You did not became the woman in the pew 40 years. You got people sitting in the
Exactly.
pew for 40 years.
Doing nothing.
And that's church to them.
Right.
Meanwhile, that's why the world is the way it is. If you multiply that by thousands of people, right? That's a lot of people that aren't going out.
Not at
And a
all.
lot of people that are not hearing the word. We have to feed the people.
We do.
You know,
Yeah.
I came with something to your point. God bless me with this solution. This came to me while I was teaching at LIU Brooklyn. I was actually
That's
at the
great.
board teaching, and it came to me as I say, learn something to know something to apply, apply something to master something to teach. If you endeavor to learn to teach, then application, knowledge, and mastery comes as a byproduct.
Right.
You end up learning twice.
That's
Now
true.
you can take that with skill development, mentoring, and in a Christian way. You know, if you endeavor to learn to teach, then you become unstoppable. Also, you bring someone else with you.
That's right.
So.
That's so good. I hate that we got to wrap it up because this
Right.
is
So
going
this was-
well.
I know, right?
I know, but
Yeah.
you know what the hour goes.
It
But
does.
before we go, we're going to hear another spoken word through Kim Seabrook.
Okay.
And
gonna
we're
go
going
back
to
to my
close out with
Tear it
that.
out, tear it out. 'Cause she,
But you all, thank you for tuning in. God bless you. God
Amen.
keep you is my prayer. Continue to watch the Crystal Jones Show. The show will be uploaded, as always, to Facebook and to YouTube. God bless you. God keep you is my prayer. And you stay balanced. We're going to go on over to Kim Seabrook.
Amen.
All right, and I'm going to do this last piece. I'm going to close out with woman's identity. Sometimes it's hard for a woman to know her identity. Society makes you feel like your own worst enemy, feeling misguided and misled about your true destiny, following the crowd instead of doing things differently. They expect us to act reckless and unprofessionally. They want us to be mad and filled with jealousy, acting devilishly, desperately, and unethically. To make it in this world, you must be a celebrity. With a size 2 waist, living excessively and expensively. Not to accept yourself the way you're built genetically. How dare you walk with your head high respectfully? You're not supposed to know what it is to have integrity. They want us to be selfish instead of building collectively. Because sometimes it's hard for a woman to know her identity. But the power of a woman needs to be used effectively. Knowing your inner beauty and self-worth is a necessity. I know the peer pressure could sometimes weigh heavily. Banned from being who you are, you must change cosmetically. As it physically means more than acting intelligently. Not knowing the true you, who you are authentically. Instead, you act more pathetically, offensively, with obscenity. I'm not pointing a finger, so let me say this apologetically. But what if we use our beauty to change the world, just speaking hypothetically? We are queens, let your crown shine, present yourself elegantly. We are women, we create life. Use that power with intensity. Walk with grace, speak poetically, and attract others mentally. Because there's nothing prettier than a woman who can speak intellectually. Women, stay in your position in life because it changes unexpectedly. The world is yours, stay strong and claim your residency. Because sometimes it's hard for a woman to know her identity. Thank you.
My God could do anything. 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 His miracles and blessings I just can't explain. The sufferings, trials, tribulations, and pain. When I can't breathe, heart racing real quick. He says your work's not done, so it's not time yet. I never have to worry, cause he's always here. And when I don't feel him, I know he's still near. Worst times in my life when I thought I couldn't make it, God pulled me through the fire and said with him, you could take it. My God could do anything. 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 Listen, praise is my weapon when I'm going through. He gives me the victory for all obstacles. Life these days is so unpredictable. The ones you love and trust be the ones that really get to you. And once you're betrayed, it's hard to forgive. Can make you real bitter. Christ died so we can live. I'm talking from experience and those that's close to me. Know my life story and all God has done for me. He called me his own and he raised me. Taught my sins and then eternally forgave me. And there's no greater love than this. He saved my soul from the pit of the abyss.
Hey everybody, just wanted to come back and remind you, this is the 400th year since the transatlantic slave trade. So you will hear me talking about the topics of the Hebrews, of blacks and Latinos being the original Hebrews, and the different things that are going on this year, because this is a year of celebration. We made it through 400 years, but now we want to get out totally off the plantation and we want to move forward. So we want you to continue to stay tuned. I do live videos on Facebook, so you could go to my Facebook page, you could go to Crystal Jones or the Crystal Jones Show, or even my pastoral page. But stay tuned for the different things that are going to be coming up. I have a lot in store, a lot of things that God is going to be doing this year through this show. So stay tuned. You could watch me always on channel 68 on Sundays from 2:30 to 3:30. That's my spot right now. We'll be back again probably next month, but not on the 12th because that's Mother's Day. So instead we'll be on the 19th, probably live. But you can still always see my show. They put me on different times as well. But my time is usually Sunday afternoon from 2:30 to 3:30, channel 68 Spectrum and channel 34, I believe, for Fios. So continue to come on to my show page and see what I'm doing, see what my guests are doing. I'll put up their information, Gerald, Kim, Minister Figueroa. You'll see all of that, all right? Stay balanced.
I don't do the things I used to. God gave me new life, and I'm so satisfied. Why
Yeah, we're going to take pictures.
look down?